Welkom back to my channel. Let's listen another story. Today we're gonna something really interesting for you guys. This is called I got hired to search two twin sisters at the age of 17. Good to go. That is awesome. Let's go. If you don't subscribe and like this video, I'm really excited to let some more anime stories, if you want to see more anime stories, let me know down below, and let's get started.
Hi there, my name's Sean, and I'm 17 years old.
So,
Today,
Sean,
I'm going to tell you about the time I became a butler for a single mom and her twin
that,
daughters.
yeah, like that. I got hired to search too, okay, yeah, I just cut over I don't know why.
Before I fully get into it, make sure to hit that like button to show your support.
Let's do
And
that.
if you want to see more videos like this, then hit that subscribe button.
Do that
I
also.
wasn't born into wealth or money. My family were working class, and I went to a public school that wasn't known for its quality education. My parents worked hard to keep up with ends meet, and when I turned 13, I did all I could to help them as well. Mowing lawns, babysitting, dog walking, anything a 13-year-old could do realistically, I did.
Okay. How can you call it?
I'm
Okay.
17 now, and while my family's still staying afloat, money still isn't pouring in. Because of that, I made the choice to not go to college. I graduated high school and dedicated most of my time to part-time jobs and other side hustles. One day, at one of my part-time jobs, my manager knew of my family's financial
Those are some good hands.
situation. She was a really nice and cool manager. She even allowed me to bring home some spare food so we didn't have to buy groceries for a few days.
Oh,
She pulled me
seriously.
aside one time and was like,
That is great. How old is she? That is great.
"I know you're not rolling in riches, which is why I have this friend of mine who needs an assistant." Well,
Sure.
anyone who needs an assistant seems like the type of person to have enough money to afford one.
True.
Her name is Victoria, and she has a full-time job as a medical lawyer. So, things at home can become very hectic. Well, now I know she's
Wait.
rolling in dough.
What?
And with her two daughters starting college, she needs someone to help her with the housework. I asked how much she would be willing to pay, and the hours included. But my manager just told me to talk to her herself, if I was interested.
Yeah.
Obviously, doing
That
housework chores
why would she discuss someone else's money with
is
you?
enough. And if I can earn extra cash, then I wouldn't mind shifting around my schedule. She gave me her friend's phone number and address before telling me to get back to work before anyone notices my absence. When I got off my shift, I received a text from the number I got from my manager. It was Victoria, asking if I was the person interested in becoming her assistant. To cut a boring conversation
That
short,
sounds so well. Hey, you him? I'm gonna assistant. Yeah. I'm gonna to tell what to do.
she was offering $50 an hour from 8
Whoa! Okay, I love it. You know what? I'm going to quit YouTube. I'm going to be assistant. Assistant? What the hell? 60 hour. Okay, no. I'm gonna quit this show. I'm not going to do. So, wait. So, okay, so let's say that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that is a gold 10 hours. So, that is $700 in one day. I'm gonna quit. Fuck this shit, I'm gonna quit.
a.m.
That's
to 6
mad.
p.m., Monday to Saturday.
That's
That's $500 a day and
Yeah.
$5,000 a week.
What the hell? Normal has only 3,000 going on.
That's more than half the jobs I do combined. I responded to her that I'm definitely interested, and that I'd love to meet her in person to discuss more details. I've been in more than enough interviews to know how to work a person. Victoria told me she'd love to as well, and told me to be at her house at 10 in the morning the next day. The next day, I drove into her neighborhood. I expected a giant mansion with an Olympic-sized swimming pool in the back. The house she lived in was nowhere near that size. It was an upper middle class. Good size, but not a whole estate.
Okay.
Of course, to me, it might as well have been a mansion.
Okay. Understandable.
I don't know why, but meeting someone who lived in a house as big as that intimidated me. I took the family car that time.
It's still a nice house. It's still a really
She
fancy
didn't live that
house.
far from me, so I could take a bus when my parents worked. And in a month or two's time, I could probably get myself an older car as well. When I got out of
Dus 2000 really easy soft and new and brand new car in this one
my
month.
car, the front
That's
door was
a
open,
nice.
and a woman was already
That's
standing in the
nice.
door. My nerves shot up solely from that. You Sean? The woman asked.
No, I'm Jameson. That's why I'm
So I
here.
came closer to the door. I nodded. Yeah, nice to meet you. She gave me a smile, and that's when I noticed that she was very pretty. Hello, Sean.
Why did you see so old then? Because this is last hair.
I'm Victoria Archer. She and I shook hands, and I took notice of her firm grip. She was experienced in meetings like these.
I got you lost. I got you lost.
Come in, and we can discuss.
Oh, hello,
She
Corinne.
led me into her house. It was probably the nicest thing I've ever seen in my life. My daughters are at their orientation. They'll be home soon.
Right.
Basically, to sum it up, she needed someone to upkeep the house while she and her daughters were away from it.
Damn, I'm good. You look
No
great.
one else is there to help, so it can get quite messy real quickly. Even when they pick up after themselves.
But hey, $60 an hour. That's I will do that. I will absolutely do that.
She said if the time was too grueling for me, we could adjust it, but I told her it was fine. I'd just have to make a few calls. A little after I arrived at her house, her daughters came home. They were twins, 18 years old. Their names
Wow.
were Rose and Ariana. Rose was older by 3 minutes. When they came home, the house instantly flooded with their loud, raucous voices.
Oh, dus I have to like that and I sang look also siblings and twins. Oh yeah, so loud.
I didn't seem surprised. Girls, come meet Sean, she called out. I could hear their footsteps come closer into the living room until they appeared in the doorway. My first opinion when I saw them was that they both looked like the perfect kind of people to get into rambunctious trouble. Well, I was half right. They did get into trouble, but they dragged me into it.
Oh
Sean,
shit!
this is Rose
Oh
and Ariana,
shit!
Victoria said. They're both starting college in 2 weeks. You two, this is Sean, our maybe housekeeper. The two of them looked at me,
Really?
and suddenly they became all giddy, pushing each other around and giggling like schoolgirls.
Oh, the lion is a kicker.
Victoria didn't seem surprised at it. Don't mind them. They get like that when they see an attractive boy. Well, I guess I should have been glad that they found me attractive.
Mom, what are you doing? Mom, stop it!
I suppose. After that, the twins stuck around for the rest of Victoria's and my talk. Everything was going fine until the end of it. Victoria and I shook hands on an established schedule. And as soon as we did, Rose and Ariana were arguing over who I would help. Come on!
I see that this is going. I see that
the
this
older
is going.
child, so I get first dibs. By 3 minutes. And don't be so lazy that you can't carry things yourself. At least I throw out my water bottles. Got to a point where Victoria had to step in and instruct them to go upstairs to their bedrooms. I'm sorry about them. They can get quite carried away, she
I
said.
see.
But what they said wasn't completely wrong. If one of them needs help, I'm paying you to help them.
It's clearly I do anything.
You can't really argue with the sound argument
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Mostly because she was right.
Even though because of fucking 60 an hour. That's not normal.
Well, that night, I called some of my managers and basically said, hey,
I quit. Fuck this shit. I'm out.
yeah, I'm quitting.
Yes! Ngaroy! Ngaroy!
Thanks for a great time. So that was the end of that. I started the week before the twins went to college, and most of the jobs I did was tidying up the house and preparing meals. It
Okay.
wasn't anything I couldn't do. However, one thing that made my job difficult was Rose and Ariana. If they were home and I was there trying to do my job, they were in the same room with me. Hey,
That's right, yeah.
Sean, could you help me with my room, please?
Hey, son, can you look at my outfit? I just got the single outfit and, I'm going to, I'm going to the gates, tomorrow. Can you see if this, looks right? Yeah, thank you, yeah, thank
Rose would ask, and then Ariana would butt in, asking me to help her clean out her car. Or something else. The two
What?
often got into small scuffles that would need to be broken up by their mother. I'm sorry for
That's a lot. Wait, what?
them. They
Yes,
can get quite rambunctious.
What?
Rambunctious is an
Rambunctious?
understatement. They'd probably fight each other if they really wanted to. When they actually started going to college, both of them asked me to help carry their stuff. Rose was double majoring, and Ariana was majoring and minoring. So, because of that, they had a lot of school books. So, I helped them
Jesus.
carry it to their respective classes. One would always thank me by buying lunch or a snack, and the other one would thank me by slipping me some cash.
Yes, I like that girl Gaia. I don't know what she's called, but I like her Lane Gaia. Even though the other one is also doesn't know lips. I like
I
that
wasn't
girl.
going to turn them down either.
Yeah,
They were literally tipping me for doing what I
Yeah.
was told to do.
yeah,
It
that's
was a really
extra.
easy way to make quick money. And besides, the twins fighting each other over me, it wasn't really that hard. One time during dinner,
I
it was
think you
close for me
like
to
it.
go home.
You
But
like it,
Victoria had a
right?
day off for the first time in forever. She wanted to reward me for doing my job exceptionally and not.
Yes. Yes, right. Yes. Wait, what?
It was close for me to go
That's
home.
what she said.
But Victoria had a day off for the first time in forever. She wanted to reward me for doing my job exceptionally and not slacking off. So, she spent a few hours cooking up dinner herself. Rose and Ariana were also excited since they didn't receive home-cooked meals by Victoria a lot. She invited me to stay as well.
Okay.
I just
alright.
finished cooking and you're going to leave? Come on, I made plenty. You can even take some leftovers home for your family as well.
Oh,
Well,
shit.
With that logic, it made sense.
Yeah.
Did make a lot. It
Damn.
would save my family some energy. That was actually the first time I've sat down with them to eat. It was barely 10 minutes into dinner before the twins started their antics again. Hey, Sean, did you know I aced my past tests? Rose asked. Well, I got recognized in my class for being top contributor, Ariana would interject.
Well, that doesn't say anything to me because I don't know what it is.
It was a constant back and forth of who was better than the other. Now, girls, I'm sure Sean thinks both of you are amazing, don't you?
I think the girls are bad. Just, nah. Just, nah.
She looked at me as if she knew she was already right. Well, yeah, I replied.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, right now, you're getting me to say this, so, yes. I don't hate you all, I love you all, yes.
I think double majoring and majoring and minoring are both amazing things to do. Even though I was honest, all three of them beamed at me. I'm glad you think that, Victoria said, because I'm aware of your family's financial situation, and I'm willing to lend a hand to you. Mom, don't try to butter him up. I was unfortunately caught between clashing familial feelings. Rose got angry, and Victoria, who in turn became more firm. I'm simply telling him he has options. No, you're trying to steal him all for yourself. I felt so awkward sitting.
No, what is the story? What is going on? I'm clueless.
At that table. Never before had I had 3 women argue over me so fervently. All right, fine, Victoria finally said. Why don't we just let Sean pick then? All of their heads swiveled towards me like owls. And I had the sudden urge to go home. Where I...
Oh, yeah. It was great meeting you all, yeah. It was a lovely, it was amazing. I don't need to say something. I really need to... I really need to go. It's not you, it's really me. It's me. It's me. Bye! Okay. Run!
I knew I was safe. Sean, you have everything you could ever need or want here. I could even support your parents if you wanted, Victoria said. You've been a big help to my family. What better way to repay it than by helping yours? I mean, you could just give me money. That's really all I need. I don't need a big house or fancy appliances. Or you could just continue to help me and Ariana with our college, Rose said. It's more fun with people your age. I didn't miss the absolute emphasis on the last part. Or he could just continue being our servant like he has for the past month or so, Ariana said. Ari, Sean is not our servant, Victoria said. He's an assistant. There's a difference. The only difference is he gets paid. Oh boy. Things were really starting to heat up now. I felt like I had just willingly crawled into the lion's den. All of them didn't know whether to glare at each other or at me. They wanted me to pick, to choose between them, which I didn't even know how to.
But
Who
why?
do you think I should have picked? Or who would be the best person
The one who is going to kill you guys.
to work closer with than others? I need to hear some opinions, so please leave them in the comments below.
What? This was so confusing. What just happened? What just happened? All of a sudden they were starting all over him, but why? What just happened? Wait, what? I don't understand. I think I'm blinking off because I can't remember that he was telling the ghost I'm quitting as well. And all of a sudden, you need to get me over here. What the heck, yo? I think I'm gonna black out. What just happened? What? Okay, I have no idea what just happened, but yeah, let me know down in the comments below who you have get out of them too. I don't know, I would say one of them sisters, but I think the other place better, but yeah, it is also true, it's nothing to do with the people in your age, so I don't know. It was absolutely, I'm going to lie about this was absolutely a rare story, but if you want to see more of these rare stories, let me know down in the comments below. Let me also know down in the comments below what you want to see and shoot of animated stories. Leave a link or something down below so I know what you want to react to of animated stories. I really love the stories. If you also enjoy this video, don't forget to click a like. Comment down below who has had that and so other videos click in the next video. Yeah.